Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Michelle, and we're going to do about a 40-minute flow, sort of an Ashtanga-based flow. Ashtanga is the yoga system that meets each day in the same way, with the same postures in the same order. It creates a lot of heat in the body, and we're going to do mostly the standing portions of it and not so much the seated. All right, so here we go. Rubbing your palms together at the front of your mat. Dropping the tailbone, lifting the pubic bone, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, and setting your eyes on the horizon, both literally and figuratively. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold in half, hands toward the floor or the shins. Shift your weight onto the balls of the feet, especially don't go too far if it's first thing in the morning or if you haven't practiced in a while. We're lifting all the muscle above the kneecaps, lifting the thighs, bend the knees now, walk your feet back into push-up position. Now, if you know that you can't handle push-up for a long while, you can always come to your elbows, equally difficult. You can come to your fists, but we'll just pause there for a moment. So here we are in plank. Come all the way to the belly. Release the toes for low cobra. Inhale, exhale, come to your knees. Tuck your toes under and establish your downward facing dog. So here your eyes travel to your navel. It gives you this point of concentration. You can bend the knees and straighten, especially for this first one. Bend the knees and straighten, reaching your palms flat into the floor, trying to draw the triceps underneath you. And at the end of your exhale, 5 breaths there, you're going to bend your knees and walk forward toward the front of the mat. Inhale into like a halfway position, tabletop. Exhale, fold. Notice I have a generous bend to my knees. We definitely don't want to lock anything out. And for this first one, I'm going to roll up to standing. Roll the shoulders back. Maybe hook your thumbs. Give yourself a little mini back bend and then back to Samasthiti. A space of neutrality from which we can create. Can't create upon creation, we have to create from a stillness, from a nothingness. Inhale again, number 2. Lifting the kneecaps, exhale, fold in half, hands toward the floor, again toward the shins, to a halfway position, lifting your kneecaps, and then you'll take this generous bend so you can come into plank, maybe bend the elbows just by the ribs and pause. In Chaturanga, roll up over the toes, lifting the kneecaps. You can always stay in your cobra instead of up dog. Cobra is not a demotion. It's just a great place to live. It's gonna be my new bumper sticker. It's not a demotion, just a great place to live. At least I made myself laugh. Eyes at the navel. 2, tucking in the ribs. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, bend the knees, look to the hands, walk, or maybe lightly jump the feet forward. Inhale, exhale, come on up to standing, palms touch, and hands back to the heart. We'll take one more time, just like that. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold in half, hands toward the floor. Inhale, shifting the weight to the balls of the feet so you can lift the kneecaps, draw the belly in, and then lay the heart at the thighs. Walk your feet into push-up, bend the elbows, so either upward facing dog or cobra. And again, the difference is sort of about upper body strength. Definitely practice, but if you can't do that without slouching or keeping your feet on the floor, you'll want to stay in cobra. Eyes to the navel, lift your kneecaps. 1. Press your hands. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take the right foot all the way through the hands. Come onto the left knee for just a little twist. Or a big twist. Twists are very deceptive. They seem sort of easy on the body, but they take a lot of energy. So definitely be aware coming in and out of twists. We're going to take downward facing dog again. Lift the kneecaps. And come to the left foot, drop onto the right knee, take your twist to the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Let's come into cat-cow, just as a little middle of the road moment. And downward facing dog. Walk the feet to the hands. Inhale to that halfway position. Exhale, fold straight legs with that slight little bend, or you can have a more generous bend. Roll on up to standing. And Samastitihi, palms to touch. Fixing your gaze on the horizon. We're gonna take two versions of Surya Namaskar B. So bend the knees, take chair. Notice my chair isn't that deep, right? A lot of yoga practices make it very deep and the chest is forward. We're gonna keep it a little less deep with more of the heart chest lifting. Exhale, hands to the floor. Walk your feet back into plank. Bend the elbows, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. You can always take your cobra and or cat-cow. Downward facing dog. We're gonna come into warrior one. So take the right foot through the hands. Some of my students use a little bit of help. They take their left knee to the floor, take the right foot through, and then tuck the left heel to the floor, squaring the hips to the front of the mat. So though the right knee is bent, it's not past the heel, it's just in line with it. Left pinky toe really doing the job of keeping you connected to your roots, to your floor. Possibly the triceps rotate in, the fingers might touch. Warrior one. Now you can come through a vinyasa, that movement that connects movement, or you can just take downward dog, or you can just change side. Whatever you need today for your body, for your anatomy. If you're coming through, you're bending the elbows, you're lifting the heart and the chest. Downward facing dog. Turn the right foot on its side, take the left foot through, and squaring the hips. Drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone, scooch the arms up, and try not to bend this right knee. So the left knee has that nice bend, the right hip is reaching forward, the right leg is so straight from behind the knee. Hands to the mat, come into your plank, bend the elbows, upward facing dog, lift, 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 downward facing dog. And the eyes travel toward the navel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend the knees, look to the hands, a light walk or a hop forward. Inhale to that halfway, exhale, fold. Bend the knees, take chair. Come to standing, right away again if you can. Bend the knees, chair. Exhale, hands to the floor, nose toward the knees. Inhale. Exhale, if you want to try jumping into chaturanga, you'll bend the knees deep, lay your chest on your thighs, and it's just a little hop back. Inhale, takes obviously some practice. Downward dog, left foot on its side, right foot through the hands. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Exhale through plank, or again, just change sides. This takes a lot on the wrists, absolutely. Upward dog, downward dog, right foot on its side, left foot through. Inhale, exhale, plank. Bend the elbows, upward dog. And let's take a wide-legged child's pose. It's not really in the system, but it seems like my body's asking for it. Maybe yours is. Reach the arms out. Maybe creep your fingers forward. Drop your tailbone even more. If I were there, I'd press my hand on your tailbone. Maybe you want to do the same. Maybe lay your left ear on the mat. It gets a great stretch in the left shoulder. And change sides. What's become so clear to me during this pandemic is how resilient every moment asks us to be. So I figure the more we fortify what it feels like to feel good during movement, that as stillness happens and the mind has free range to roam around in all the dark corners, and it should, it does, that's the mind's job. We have enough practice through this movement to mitigate all that mind drifting, all that fear stimuli. So we're gonna inhale, exhale, fold forward, and suddenly you're back in the driver's seat. Lift the kneecaps. We're not trying to control the meanderings of the mind. We're just trying to look at them, to notice them. So now I have very myriad injuries in this hamstring area, so I'm definitely gonna bend my knees. I'm gonna locate my belly more, try to get into the core more, bend the elbows, let the head go, breathe, breathe, breathe. If you like to have a straighter leg, be my guest, but just try not to lock it out. And then to go a little bit deeper, you're gonna shimmy your hands underneath your feet. Inhale, exhale. Let the head go. Inhale, exhale, come on back to Samasthiti. And exhale, open up to the side, Trikonasana, triangle pose. So it's not too wide a stance. Your feet are just past the hips maybe. Turn both toes to the right, so toward the right leg. It's hard to say front of your mat, back of your mat, but it's to the back of my mat and to the right. Arms are outstretched, no higher than the shoulders and not limp-wristed. We're really trying to engage every part of us. Yeah, everything. Shift the hips to the left. Draw your right hand towards your right knee. Now, if you have a block or something and you want to place it to the outside of the right leg, awesome. If you don't have a block, a water bottle or pillow, a small child maybe, a puppy. Probably not, those will move. So I'm gonna take my ankle instead of my toe today. My left hip, this is always the dance, the struggle. The left hip does move forward a little bit, but not at the expense of like shifting everything. And the hips wanna kind of go away from you. What would happen, you might have to reach the hand further up the calf. If everything could stay in connection. The icing on the cake is the drishti to the left fingers. If the neck feels compromised, you know, let's say yesterday, oh my God, but I looked up, no problem. And last night you slept funky. You can look down, you can look straight. It's about compassion, yeah? Especially as we're doing these without actual hands-on adjustments. It's not the Olympics, it's just moving into triangle pose, yeah? So now we'll take the other side. Shift the hips to the right, toes toward the left. Keep shifting, left hand reaches. I don't know about you, but I have such tight side bodies, so I really enjoy that first moment. Then I let myself settle, and then maybe I go a little bit deeper. Right arm to the sky. You can let the right hip fold a little bit, but at the same time, there's that little dance that I talked about. You know, what's happening where you can use your hands manually, push your right hip back, maybe take the left hand. If you can hold the left big toe, fantastic. So be it. If you can't, you can still play. Lift the kneecaps, let the head do what it wants to do. Either way though, really look at something. Inhale, come on up. And we'll take triangle twist. So we're gonna turn both toes back to the first side, toward the back of your mat or to the right. Square your hips now to the right foot without puffing out the ribs like I just did. You're gonna draw the tailbone down, lift the pubic bone up, take the left arm and hold somewhere, maybe the right knee, the shin, the floor, whatever makes sense for your body today. Trying to keep the hips level. If you twist everything in a twist, you're actually twisting nothing. So just decide that you're twisting the upper back. Possibly, again, you get the icing on the cake, the eyes travel maybe to the right hand. 4, 5. To come on, I'm going to bend that right knee, mostly because of my hamstrings personally, but it might help just to remind yourself to be compassionate, to be soft to yourself. And then we'll change and do the second side. So again, you might have to readjust something, you know, especially if you find yourself in this balletic 4th position. We want the heels to be more in line than the heel and the arch, which is how it used to be in the Western Ashtanga series days. We're going to really square these hips to the left leg. Right arm reaches. Keep pulling in the belly. Keep drawing the navel toward the spine, you might think. Right hand to the left foot, and then square the hips again. Left arm up to the sky. Press the left big toe mound. Then possibly the eyes travel up. Possibly the shoulders stack. And we'll breathe here 5 breaths. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Windmill the arms. So the left arm comes down, the right arm comes up. We're at the center. Bend the knees. Samastitihi. That's what I kind of love about this Ashtanga yoga system. And I'll go into detail about that another time. But that we always come back to this emptiness, to this moment of recreation. Exhale, wide stance now. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So you take the knee over the heel, the left toe is reaching toward the earth, pubic bone lifts, tailbone down. So much space between the ears and the shoulders. And then Parsvrukkonasana, extended right angle. So maybe the right hand hangs out at the right knee. Maybe you gaze up. Lots of space, and possibly this right hand's gonna head toward the floor. We don't know till we try. Keeping the right buttock shifted in. Maybe the icing on the cake is this left arm overhead, or you can keep it up, or you can keep it at the waist, whatever your body needs today. Try not to let the left leg bend. It might shake, it's working hard. If you have a block or that water bottle I was talking about, you could put it on the outside of the right leg. And then we'll shift sides. So left knee's gonna bend, knee is over the heel, right heel rooted into the earth. And then we have this dignity, feeling like a string is coming from the crown of the head, giving lots of space in the ears and the shoulders. Automatically for me, it creates this little shift of a smile in the corners of my mouth. Then take your left elbow to the left knee-ish, pulling the ribs in the belly, stacking the shoulders, breathe. In and out through the nose. And exhale, left hand to the floor, breathe. Maybe you take the hands, stay at the waist, you just decide. Exhale, we're gonna take a twist. So we've taken the triangle, one side, the second side, and then a twist. Same idea as here. The right knee bends, left elbow comes to the outside of this right knee. Inhale, inhale. Exhale. Stacking the palms in prayer. 4, 5. Exhale to come on up. Inhale, here's your inhale, here's your inhale. And the exhale takes the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, stacking the palms, pinky toe really rooted. Shift the hips so that they're square. Windmill the arms, inhale, inhale. Exhale, come back to the front of the mat. Last one, inhale, last forward bend kind of thing. Reach the arms out, Prasarita Padmottanasana A. So hands come to the waist. This does have a wider stance. Turn the toes in a little bit more than out though. And then the hands to the waist or the hips, keeping the chest wide. Immediately I'm gonna engage my legs, because if I don't, I'll hurt something. So I'm gonna engage the legs, pull in the belly, pull in the shoulders, the ribs, and just pause there in your center. Inhale, inhale, inhale. We're starting with Prasarita B, so that it keeps the hands at the waist. Shift the weight to the balls of the feet. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, reach the arms out. Inhale, interlace the hands behind the back or hold either elbow. Either way is totally fine. Inhale, lift again the kneecaps, and then the hands come wherever they come. You know, some days my hands come and touch the floor. Some days they stay right here. Depends on what's going on with the hamstrings. Bend the knees a little bit if you can, if you need to. And come on up. Exhale, very nice. Inhale, one last one. Hands to the waist, and I'm not going far down today. I'm just tilting in half. Maybe I bend the knees a little more and grab hold of my big toes. So I'll show you what that looks like from the side. I would just take hold of the toes. Inhale, shift forward, pull in the belly. Elbows definitely extend out to the sides. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hands to the waist, come on up to standing. And yes, we meet up again. Samastitihi. So for some balance postures, maybe you hold the right big toe in the right hand. Yeah, I'm not in tree pose. I'm really actually holding the right big toe in the right hand. Obviously, if you have a wall here, that would be fine, or a chair. And then we're gonna try to extend this right leg straight-ish. If you're looking to bend something, bend the right leg, not the left. We're gonna try to keep a real firmly rooted standing leg. Shoulders are soft. And then maybe you take this right leg out to the right, not too far, gaze over the left shoulder. And back to the center. Notice I'm trying to take my Ujjayi Pranayama very serious here. Inhale through the nose. We're trying to balance just on one leg. Exhale through the nose. And come on down. Now let's pretend you haven't practiced yoga in a little while. Or let's pretend you've never practiced yoga and you pop on some video and some teacher's standing there with her leg all the way up to her, I don't know, sky, and you're like, oh, I can't do this class. What if you did the class where you were, so the leg can be just down here? It's just a little secret between you and the floor. You know what you're working on. Plenty to work on here. The belly, the breath, the concentration. Okay, so now we take the second side. Again, you can use a wall. You can use a chair. I have a student who just stares at a wall, and she can do it. Sometimes, you know, where you're standing on carpet is hard, which is what I'm kind of dealing with, to be honest. Exhale, maybe the left leg is straighter than the right. Like I said, I've got some injury on the right, so I'm able to extend this leg a little differently. It's not better or worse, it just is the way it is. Trying to keep my chest lifted and my shoulders really straight. And again, if that's not available to you, bend the left knee a little bit. Hold where you can hold. Hold the knee, hold the toe. Maybe you take it to the left. Gaze over the right shoulder. The other wonderful thing about yoga, especially if you practice the same thing day to day to day, you come up against your ego. And won't that be interesting to get to know your ego self a little bit more intimately, with a little more friendliness possibly? And then exhale. Lift the heart and the chest. Whoops. And after all, we're just standing in funny positions trying to feel better about our, flexibility in our day-to-day brain and body. So now I'm going to stand on my left leg, warrior 3. Again, this is not in the Ashtanga system. It's just a nice place to be at this moment. You can use, obviously, a wall, whatever. Palms you can play with. If Ardha Chandrasana is in your practice, this would be an opportune time. Take maybe one hand, probably your left hand, to the floor. Your right hand can stay at the waist, or it can travel to the sky. If you feel secure enough, you can change your gaze to to also head up to the sky. By having the right foot really flexed, it helps with the balance. If you don't believe me, try it. Bend the knees now. Roll the shoulders. Utkatasana. 5, 4. This has a little bit more bend to it. 3. I'm looking down. 2. I'm going to come right up into warrior 3 again on the second side. Right leg straight, left leg back, out behind you. And then again, I'm really getting into my Ujjayi Pranayama, pressing my right big toe. It'll dance a little bit maybe. You can play with the hands. You can take your Ardha Chandrasana, right hand to the floor if you took the other side. This side again. You might fall, it might be very different. You might be nursing an injury. Flex the left foot. Maybe the gaze happens, maybe it doesn't. I'm gonna come out of it a little earlier on this side. I'm very sorry. Take your chair of 5. Maybe gaze up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take 5 breaths to the floor. 5, no hands. 4, 3, 2, 1. And right away into our Navasana. Legs come up. Now, if you need bent knees, that's fine. I won't ask for verification. Just bend your knees. 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you hug the knees into your chest. This is sort of your Samasthiti when you're sitting on the floor, just in a moment of nothingness, emptiness, and breathe again. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on down. And number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So notice I'm doing like an inward turn of the toes toward each other, not external. And shoot, what was that? I think that was 4. This is 5. Theoretically, we do 5 of them. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. You can come on out through a vinyasa, or if it's a rainy Monday like it is, you might just take Baddha Konasana. So here I have my knees splayed, my feet together. If your knees are up here because you bike ride every day, and you know, that's great, so be it. You can put some props underneath you, either pillows or blocks, and just encourage your thighs. Like if I were there, I would just encourage the thighs open, maybe with my hands or in my legs. I might sit on you, and then you have the ability to say, please go away. But here, you're gonna just take it for yourself. Elbows into your ribs and breathe. Look past your toes a little bit, and then engage the belly. So just notice if it kind of went on vacation like mine did, reminding it to benefit you. Shoulders away. It's not a big movement. I'm not trying to lift my hips off the ground. And come on up. Now the crown of the head to the feet. Exhale, so like you're punched in the gut. Inhale. Elbows on the thighs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, we are going to take a vinyasa here. Vinyasa sort of resets the pace. So legs back up into Navasana for a sec. Cross the shins if you can. Hug them in deeply to your heart and to your chest. Lift up. I'm going to cheat. Let's cheat today. Take the toes to the floor, but lift your hips. And then take your hands in front of you. Walk your feet out into plank. In fact, let's take Vashisthasana, side arm balance with the left knee down. Right hip stacked on top of the left, pulling the ribs in the belly. Let the right toe just hang out at the floor. Right arm to the sky and breathe. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come into plank. Maybe you take a chaturanga up, little push up or 2. So strong legs, inwardly rotate the thighs. Drop to the right knee, walk the right hand in. Stack the right shoulder and the right wrist and breathe. 5. Come into plank. Take your little push up. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel free to take a child's pose. Bend the knees. Walk or jump your feet through, lying on your back. Palms toward the sky. Inhale, inwardly rotate the thighs, and just like that balance posture, this resembles that. We're gonna take hold of the right ankle or toe if you can. Inhale, press the left hand in your left hip and lift your chest. So again, it's not a huge event. We're just kind of lifting the chest, and you can just press into whatever you feel might be needing some attention, needing some nurturing. Your thighs, right? We're just trying to be really thoughtful and curious about the postures and where they live on us today. Lying down, taking a little bend of this right knee, open the right leg to the right. And just explore it. As soon as my left hip or left shoulder wants to leave the earth, I know I've gone just as far as I need to, and then I glue it back down and try to breathe in the posture. The drishti or the gaze is now over the left shoulder. Inhale, hug the right knee into the chest, and we'll take a supine twist. So bend this right knee, stretch the right arm out, and let it twist over to the left. Enjoying that moment. It's usually a pretty universally rooted for, accepted moment. Maybe you unwind the back a little bit. Come back, knee into the chest, and change sides. Right leg straight. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. Exhale, breathe 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Lie back. Now, I put up these panels, but they are certainly not secure. So take your, if you needed to scooch, but that's what I did. So take your left leg to the side as you keep the right hip glued down. Look over the right shoulder. Breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the center. Lift up. We're gonna, before our supine twist, we're gonna take both legs up and take these little reverse crunches. So lift 1 and 2. Try not to swing too much. 3, 4, 5. Maybe Supta Baddha Konasana, supine, bound angle pose, and then again, inhale, legs up, breathe 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. And I like to do everything in threes. Lift the legs back up. Flex them now. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. You could take a backward somersault, go through a vinyasa, or you can just hug the knees into the chest into Supta Baddha Konasana again. And we'll take our supine twist. So right leg straight, left knee crosses over the body, both shoulders glued to the floor. You can goal post your arms, or if you have space and you want to stretch it out, that's terrific. In and out through the nose. Come on back to your mat, and before we get into our back bend practice, we are going to take another version of this Supta Baddha Konasana. Another one is right or wrong. This one has you lying on the floor. Try to touch the small of the back to the mat. That's really important. And now we'll try to just give a little bit of weight onto the thighs. Shoulders down. And here we go. All right, we're going to take 3 bridge poses. If you have in your practice a back bend practice that you enjoy, take a bridge pose with us and then take your back bend. So I'm going to make little fists for my hands and press them on my hips just to give me a little bit of stability where I am in space here. Press against them, little resistance, and breathe. 1. The gaze is at the tip of my nose. 2. If you have a block and you want to put it between the thighs, it's just a great way to elucidate, big Sanskrit term, huh? Elucidate what should happen with the thighs. So we're trying not to clench the buttocks, but feel it in the thighs. And we'll call this 5. Exhale. Maybe fallen bridge, so drop the knees toward each other. Take a hand to the belly, a hand to the chest. Again, it's not the Olympics of yoga. It's just a little yoga during a time that's weird. Yeah? Inhale. Exhale, maybe this time you take your hands to the floor and draw your shoulders underneath you, knees toward each other, and breathe. 1, eyes at the navel, drawing your hips toward your knees, your heart and your chest away from them. Fire it all up. 3, 4, 5, come on down. Your choice, you can take like a little windshield wiper moment. You can let the knees play, whatever you want to do. And last one. So for the last one, maybe you take your shoulders really deep underneath you, really lift the hips, really draw the shoulders into the earth. Really take your knees away from your heart. A lot of people say back bends hurt me, I can't do them because it hurts my back, but that's usually because we're just dumping. We're going one way or not the other. Try to go both ways. So I'm really separating my vertebra, going both ways. And come on down. Now we're gonna cross the right leg over the left and take both knees to the right actually. So you get in your twist, but in the converse way than we did before. You might even take both hands and kind of draw your left hip from behind the hip toward the earth on the right side. So being your own practitioner here, massaging out, exploring in a kind of Reiki or chiropractic way. I'm really pressing my right heel on my left thigh here. Draw your shoulders into the mat and gently, slowly come on up. Ooh, maybe take the feet, still with the right heel over, but just kind of windshield wiper them. And we will get to pigeon pose, but just a quick drawing of this figure 4 into the chest. Exhale through happy baby. Happy baby is like a wide second position. Grab hold of your heels. Let the toes turn out. And then inhale. We're gonna cross the left leg over the right knee. This time shift the hips to the right, oh my. And let the whole kit and caboodle go to the left. Massaging out the right hip. I like to take a little fist and pummel it out here. Maybe again, you take both hands and press into that hip, press into the hip bone, into the waist. Draw the shoulders to the floor. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. See what else needs to be done. Oh my. I don't know about you. Let me know if that one gets you as much as it gets me. Just rocking back and forth, but just a little ode to our pigeon. Now we're gonna rock back and forth 3 times. So exhale back, inhale up. 1, exhale, inhale. 2, exhale, inhale. 3. That last one, maybe that sits you up, stretches your legs forward, holds the outsides of your feet, let the head go. So this is your, most extensive forward bend, let's say, of the morning or of the practice or the middle of the night, whenever you're using this to practice. Lift the kneecaps so much. 3, 4, and 5. Chin to chest. Roll on down, lift the legs toward the sky. And right away we'll take a shoulder stand. Now if you don't want to come up with the legs up in the air, you can reach them up against a wall. If your legs are up in Sarvangasana, shoulder stand, take the time to set yourself up, right? So the elbows, they're not going to want to do what you want them to do. What you want them to do is draw closer together. Take the hands to the small of the back. Draw the legs away from your head, right? Most of us can't figure out where that is. So draw the legs away from your head. Inwardly rotate the feet, and more pointed than flexed. It's not a huge deal. We're standing on our shoulders.
Ujjayi Pranayama, not only because it's difficult to breathe here, but it'll keep the heat in the body, which will help at least delay, if not avoid, injury. Maybe you have it in you to walk your hands up your back a little bit. You might feel so tall, it might feel like a lovely anomaly from your day. And now take the toes behind the head, Halasana plow. Strong legs. Breathing here. Yoga is, after all, a breath practice. Here's the best time to practice it, when it's most difficult. And slowly, carefully, 10 breaths to roll on down. Maybe you take your hands flat, slowly, slowly, strong legs. I haven't been counting, have you? Toes toward the floor, Matsyasana fish pose.
So begin it by coming to the elbows, which helps create this rounding, this big lift in the heart and the chest. If the back feels okay, so I'm on the crown of my head-ish, and then the arms straighten, touch each other, feet touch each other, lifting. We'll call this 1, 2, eyes at the nose, 3, 4, 5, just 5 more, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more yummy pose before you get to rest. Take the right heel over the left knee. Pigeon pose, eye of the needle. Draw the right arm through the little window. And then you do you. Some people like to straighten the left leg. Explore it all. You don't have to commit. Flexing that left foot so much. Flexing the right foot even. Maybe you take the nose to the knee. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. Oh. And actually, you know, it's good to shift around what you're doing in it. It does, again, that word elucidate. It does open up the options. Inhale. Exhale. Release the leg, left heel over the right knee now. And breathe. Left arm through the little window. Take the left hand, close it over the right wrist, flex both feet. Breathe. 2 and 3. Hug that knee in. 4, 5. I know I didn't count on the first side. Don't know why I'm counting here. And this side doesn't want me to straighten the leg, but maybe if you want to, you certainly can, especially if you did on the first side. If you want to rotate the ankle, keep the neck nice and long. I'm going to ask you to take one last motion, hug everything in, draw your shoulders in, get real crunchy. And at the exhale, when you release, you're going to let out a sigh through your mouth. And here you are, Shavasana, rest pose. So in Shavasana, you're going to set yourself up just like you would any other pose. If you're cold, first of all, grab something to put on you, socks. If you have something you can luxuriously place over your eyes, be my guest. Draw all the flesh from the top of the buttocks away so you can sort of feel the small of the back touch the mat again. Draw the legs long and flap the palms facing the sky, shoulders relaxed. Think about where you might be holding some hidden tension. Mine is always my jaw, the back of my neck, behind my eyes. So you might be taking a little body scan with me.
please stay in your Shavasana. I'm going to come to sitting and take a little moment of honoring some the Sanskrit words that have come before us that connects us to our practices. So here with your restful ear. Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishate Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Loosely translated, that chant is about the opposites. That which is holy, clearly holy, is the same as that which is not so clearly holy. The thing that we find pleasure in, the thing we find aversion to. Both sides of the coin. When we hold them in balance, there comes holiness. So if you can stay on your mat the rest of your day, please do. As you think about coming out of your practice, same way you went in with some hope or some joy or whatever you went in with got you to your mat. All that you did on your mat, whether it be cry or find great flexibility or find a way to tolerate your aversion to yoga itself, is yours. We did it in this strange virtual community, but it is yours. So you can take it with you off the mat. If it just gave you a break from your day, all of it exists in you. May there be peace above you, peace below you, peace all the way to your right and all the way to your left. So you could deeply root in this peace, practice this peace by example. Thanks for coming. Be sure to subscribe. Any things you want to ask me about, I'm always available. Namaste.